and loving. And that seems to me to be the essential question.
Wayne, you've had kids in batches, haven't you?
Not quite in batches, well, one at a time, but there's a batch of kids.
Some are a little older and some are a little younger.
Yeah, I have a daughter who's the first batch. It was 9 children. I have a daughter who's 18, who's a freshman at Michigan State University, and I have another daughter who's 11, and another one who's 4. Mm-hmm. And then I have another daughter who is 2, and another daughter who is 7 months, who just had an operation yesterday on her eye, on her tear duct, and had it open. And so I have 5 daughters, and so if you're here to talk about how to father sons, you got to talk to somebody.
Yes, I have 2 daughters too, and
I don't know the tricks or the rules on how to do that. They say if you leave your socks on or something. I don't know. That works. Nothing worked for me.
Well, are you changing?
Oh yeah. When Hugh was talking about the business of loving and nurturing, that has never been a problem for me. I've always been that kind of a very expressive, and I like to kiss my kids and hold them and touch them, put my arms around them, and all of those kinds of things. My difficulty in fathering has to do with balancing what it is that I want to do in my life and the responsibilities that I have, and the time commitment that it takes to be with your children. And, you know, I mean, like yesterday, my daughter had an eye operation. I had made a commitment to be in Cleveland here today. So I was there with her then, and boom, I'm catching a plane, and on her day of recuperation, I'm in Cleveland talking about how important it is to be with your children. And that's a difficulty for me all the time, like just finishing a book tour and so on, and speaking, and all the things that I do as a professional, and still wanting to spend time with my children. I'm doing it a lot better, I think, than I did with the first time around.
Mm-hmm. Now, she understands. Do you think, no, the little one, of course, doesn't,
yeah.
but do you think when they're 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 that they understand that Daddy has to be away?
No, they don't understand. But it doesn't, it's like what I do is I explain to them that I've got to go and I work, and all this beautiful home that you have and all these things have to get taken care of and so on. But they don't. They cry and they find it a difficulty. But then it's over with for them very quickly, you know, all of that trauma, because their mother is there with them all the time. There are many fathers who are out there, you know, trying to be effective fathers, and then mothers who are trying to do the same thing and having to work, and kids who are left alone. And that's, I think, that's what happened with my first baby. My wife worked, I worked, we didn't have much money, and that was just an economic necessity. And so my daughter was in child care centers and things like that, and really missed having someone there. So that, I mean, those are tough things that you struggle with when you're a father. At least I do, anyway.
Yeah, I do think it's important to define it as a job and recognize that you have at least 2 jobs at that time. And Francis Bacon once said that women and children hold men hostages against fame and fortune. And that's overstated, as you gentlemen demonstrate. But it is true that it takes time away. And I think you have to make some commitment to that task, to giving time and energy and love to the children. I see too many families where the kids are put on hold. Yes. You know, Daddy, well, wait a minute. Daddy, wait a minute. And just put them on hold. And then 3 years later, they're still on hold. I think it's really important to get them off and spend time with them.
I have to say I consider myself extremely fortunate insofar as being a novelist, I work at home. And so my kids have me around the house, and they understand that during my working hours, they leave me alone. But they have the experience, I like to think, of my being there. They, for example, don't understand the idea of somebody going to an office. They've never been to my office. But I find myself extremely lucky in that regard, that I am around them, and I try to give to them what we were talking about, this attention and love that is so necessary for development.
My youngest son will soon be 24, my youngest child, and they were all born in an era when pregnancy was looked upon as a disease process, and they sterilized you, and the fathers didn't even go in there.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, some of you perhaps have had,
oh, yes.
you've seen the birth of your children, but it was just not possible. It was unthinkable. I didn't even think to ask.
Yeah.
What kind of a difference do you think that has made with a whole generation of young people who are raising their children after having attended the birth, seen them born, held them in their hands moments after birth? Do you think that makes a difference?
Immense. It seems to me that among the most sublime experiences of my life, in any sense, was being there and helping my wife through the birth of our 2 children.
Me too.
Don't you feel? I mean, it was,
the last 3, I was there.
It's just
caught them.
unbelievable.
I mean,
And I
don't realize how slippery they are.
Yeah, the miracle, the extraordinary miracle, and the sense also that you are taking responsibility for your act, and you are partaking at the very moment of their entering into this world.
I think it's a bonding process.
Immense
You become much more bonded
Absolutely.
to them. And when my wife was pregnant, each of the last 3 times, I was in the delivery room, and I was going around attending to all of the people there. I was having the time of my life. There were a lot of women there, I noticed, who were in their late 30s and early 40s having children, compared to when my first daughter was born. That was almost a rarity. You didn't see that. You were through having your children by the time you were in your early 30s. And I would go around and talk to this one and say, things are going to work out, it's all going to be fine. And my wife is an amazing person. She sets her mind when she goes in to have a baby. I mean, she's just absolutely phenomenal. And it refuses to make this a bad experience and doesn't think negative and doesn't think pain and so on. So she just is a terrific model for everybody else around her. So I just felt that I was free to go around and help everybody else.
When we come back, I'm going to get specific here. I'm going to say, what can we do to help our kids grow up to be good people? And we'll also involve our audience here, the people who have joined us in our studio, and we'll also take some calls on the telephone, 578-1000. We'll be right back. We're talking about fathering.